Meanwhile, there are indications that the legislative arm of government is making efforts to achieve final resolution of the prolonged industrial impasse by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU. National Assembly correspondent Bolaji Moribiri reports that this indication emerged during a visit by the Senate to the Ministry of Education in Abuja.
This visit is part of the statutory mandate of the National Assembly. The ministries, departments and agencies under its supervision. Top on the agenda of the meeting is the prolonged strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the recent indefinite extension.
Whatever we can do, I will appeal to you with the fear of God. I will also tell the university teachers, things are not exactly okay right now. Challenges are global. To a point of making these lecturers know that you are offered the optimum.
I feel that maybe the ministry can intervene in your dialogue, national dialogue. I don't think it will bring a better solution.
Government has done everything, discussed everything, and virtually yielded to all the requests of ASUU. The only thing the government refused to yield to is for ASUU to be paid for 6 months that they did not work. Where it is now, for the parliament to intervene, call ASUU and beg them on behalf of our students, on behalf of government, beg them.
The Senate expressed optimism that the Academic Staff Union of Universities, through its intervention, will consider the offer made so far to end the 6-month-old strike. In Abuja, Bolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Now, to discuss more about this extension by ASUU, talking about a strike, is the chairman, pro-chancellors of state-owned universities. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right. Can you shed more light on what your committee raised when you told ASUU that membership of the union is voluntary?
Well, the Committee of Pro-Chancellors of State Universities have taken a stand on all these issues. Number one, you will all appreciate that all agreements had always been between ASUU and the federal government. The implication of that is that those agreements are actually not binding on state universities, because we are not parties to the agreements. Number two is that going forward, if we are in a federal system of government, the state has its own rules, the federal government has its own rules, the local governments also have their own roles to play. Employees of state universities are employees of the governments of the states. Unions cannot impose agreements they reach with their own employers on those who are not their employers, the states. That is the point of COPSON, Committee of Pro-Chancellors of State Universities.
All right, valid point there.
As well. Yes, please.
You also asked for democratization of the unions operating in the universities. What does that mean?
Well, number one, you appreciate that everybody who has studied ASUU very well, is a pattern has arisen where some individuals virtually abandon teaching and research to be doing union work. That is number one. Number two is that if we truly operate a constitution that guarantees freedom, there can be no compulsion in belonging to unions. People, like it happens in other parts of the world, workers must be able to decide whether to belong or not to belong. That is the beauty of democracy. Actually, as a matter of fact, in other climes, when unions want to go on strike, individuals reserve the right to tell the unions, I don't want to join this particular strike. Those who join they know the consequence. And the issue of no work, no pay is not alien. It's been in our statute books for decades. And that is the best international practice as well.
Okay.
Apart from this country, I'm not aware, and I stand to be educated, of other countries in the world, even the rich countries of the world, the United States, the countries of Europe, UK, you go on strike for 1 hour, you will not be paid for the 1 hour.
Okay.
You go on strike for 2 weeks, yeah.
All right, that's actually correct, if you want to look at other crimes. But, the public will be surprised, that you're taking this position at this point because, you have described the approach of ASUU to fund the universities as a cake because all along, the union has been enjoying your backing and you now seem to be backing out from the struggle. Why is that?
They are not backing out. They are just trying to provide a reasonable alternative. Like our elders will say, beheading is not the answer for headache. Now, these students have been away now from their studies for 6 months. If you look at the fallback effect of all these strikes, number one, many of the laboratories where they bought reagents, chemicals for students to use for experiment, they've gone bad now after 6 months. There are people who make their own daily living from servicing students and workers in the universities by way of provision of services, be it selling food, transportation. They have been out of business for 6 months. So the rollback of effect of it is the problem. So if we can't look at it in a narrow way, we must be holistic. There are a lot of other Nigerians whose means of livelihood have been destroyed in the last 6 months just because the strike is on. Don't talk about it. The students is also very significant. If you ask, in universities that are not going on strike, like especially private universities and some state universities, you will discover that those who are in 300 levels in those universities now, their counterparts in federal universities are still in the 100 level.
Very true. Thank you very much, Yusuf Olaolu Ali, for sharing your thoughts with us as regards the ASUU strike.
Thank you.
And of course, looking forward to the resolution of the dispute between ASUU and government. Away from